As we crossed the stony plains of Bir Ziri, the fort appeared almost without warning. There was nothing around it. No settlement, no cultivated land, no sign that anyone lived here permanently. Just a lonely building sitting above the desert, surrounded by a horizon so vast it seemed to swallow everything human. I found myself wondering what it must have been like to be stationed here, in the heat, in the dry. The fort was built by the French during their gradual expansion into Mauritania in the early 20th century. On a map, it was a strategic outpost. In reality, it must have felt like the edge of the world. Weeks could pass without seeing anyone except a handful of fellow soldiers. Supplies arrived only when caravans or patrols crossed the desert. The sun dominated the days, the stars dominated the nights, and beyond the walls stretched hundreds of kilometers of empty country. Inside, the rooms are small and practical. Thick walls offered protection from both heat and attack. There is little sign of comfort, only duty, only survival. The most important feature was not the walls but the well. Without water, the fort could not exist. Today, the well is dry. Looking down into it, I could see the remains of a goat, a stark reminder of how unforgiving this environment can be. In a place where water once meant life, even a simple misstep can become permanent. Inside the fort walls, I became fascinated by the windows. They are little more than narrow openings cut through thick walls, designed for observation rather than comfort. Yet each one framed the landscape like a picture. Through one window, I could see a tent, a nomadic young girl crossing the sand, a solitary tree. Through another, a flat-topped hill rising from the plain. Through another, endless desert fading into the heat haze. And I found myself wondering what a young French soldier might have seen. Standing guard here must have involved long stretches of waiting, days measured by the movement of shadows, weeks marked only by the arrival of supplies, travelers, or the occasional patrol. Perhaps he stood where I stood, peering through the same opening. Perhaps he watched a lone rider approaching across the plain, just as I watched the young girl crossing the valley below. Perhaps he wondered what lay beyond the horizon, thought about home, or counted the days until he could leave. The remarkable thing is that the landscape has barely changed. The hill is still there, the trees are still there, the horizon remains impossibly distant. The soldier is gone. The fort is slowly returning to the earth. But the view through the window remains almost exactly the same. For a moment, separated by more than a century, we were looking at the same desert.